Three, two, one, go.
Welcome, guys.
Back.
We're back.
We're back, and hopefully we keep on hitting this.
Well, I'm not going to be around. I'll be around for Christmas.
Why don't you just fly in like every week?
Fly in every week? Yeah. Once we start
With your
making
fancy
tons of
job.
money from the podcast,
Yeah,
and we could afford to.
yeah,
Fuck
and
yeah.
fly you in every week and sit here and smoke cigars.
Dude, that would be
Deal.
the life.
That would be the
If
life.
there was an airport closer by.
Montezuma,
Let's make our own airport.
dude. When I went to Texas, we flew into Dallas and went to Texarkana, and there was one plane that comes in 2 times a day. And you get off at the tarmac and walk in. It was the coolest thing
Small
ever.
plane?
It was a tiny plane.
Did you hit like a bigger airport and then get in a small plane and then go?
Yeah, we hit with the Dallas,
Mhm.
and then we flew into Texarkana, and there was maybe like 4 of us on the plane. We just got off the tarmac and walked in.
Nice.
It was tiny. It was great though.
Do you talk about that trip yet on this podcast?
I have not.
You should tell us about that, dude.
Well, the
Explain
thing
the
is,
situation a little bit.
I
Is it like Fight Club?
It is like
you
Fight
can't
Club.
really
Yeah,
talk
okay.
about Fight Club. You have to kind of go to it.
Can I give a summary?
Of what you think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Jacob went to this camp.
Camp?
Yeah, it was like 4-H camp or like Boy
Church
Scouts.
camp.
But instead of that, it's
Boy
like
Scouts.
military training camp. And it's just like a bunch of bros like learning strong business ethic. And they're working out and they're doing like gritty stuff. And that's what I think it is.
Yeah, I mean it's somewhere along the lines of that.
Yeah.
I mean it's
I'm guessing it's testing yourself.
It's
Mentally and
definitely
physically.
testing yourself. I think the best thing I could say was a lot of things I've gone to like motivation. They just kind of motivate you, and you kind of come back and you're like, yeah, I'm motivated for like a day, and the next day you're like right back to the same thing. This is a motivating thing. They do motivate you, but they actually give you the tools to continue to be motivated and to continue to like do better things, continue to grow and do awesome things. So,
Yeah, how do you think they do it to where you like stay with it? Do they give you like a plan or a guideline? Or are you working towards like a goal, or how do you go about it?
Well, yeah, they have like it's all structured. And they have like a little packet. When I got there, they had a little packet they kind of gave you. They have like a structure that they kind of go over. They kind of go over like your family, your mission, relationships, wealth, and a couple other things. But again, I'm not necessarily supposed to talk about because one,
It's like Fight Club.
yeah, exactly. You just got to go, and it's but I invited Frank, and there's actually someone you have to email.
Okay.
I'll give that to you after this.
Are you interested in doing stuff like that?
Yeah, well, might as well try it.
This guy's a multi-millionaire, and this guy's probably one of the coolest, nicest guys. And dude, the ranch is absolutely beautiful. I did not want to leave that place.
I'm open to new experiences.
Yeah.
In the community, there's guys who are also like a couple billionaires in this community. There's like financial guys. There's guys who own like a bunch of real estate. And then there's just guys like me, or like a 19-year-old dude who went through with me and just trying to go by in his life, getting better. And some guys who are just normal dudes who, yeah, they're not
It's
like
kind of
super
sweet, dude. It's like it's good that the guy who runs it keeps it open ended, because it could very easily become like, you know what the Bohemian Grove is,
Cults.
or yeah, but it's kind of is. It's a club, you know, like clubs and cults. You know,
I mean,
he's leaving it open, and they're able to network and like
it's like,
grow with each other.
what's the root word of culture?
Cult.
Yeah. It's like, it starts somewhere.
It's cult's probably based around group, right?
Yeah.
Collective, like.
Like, and it's cults are all over. Like, religion is a cult, but it's not to say that cults are bad.
Yeah,
like,
but
certain cults are good, certain cults are bad.
To describe a cult, you're describing like a certain thing. Like the meaning of the word has changed, and kind of like conspiracy theorist is like when you say it's conspiracy theory, it means something else than like what the literal definition of conspiracy theory means.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just like cult means something different than
Yeah,
the actual
the
word.
social kind of just was like cult. Oh yeah, it's some kind of like hired dude who.
It's some hokey shit.
Yeah, some crazy stuff who just wants
Behind
money
every
or-
cult's a person.
Yeah. Who either wants money or just wants to have sex.
Power. Yeah.
Power.
But like the guy
Sex,
who-
money, power.
The guy who's putting on that, he's a leader of it. He's like
But he is the leader of it, and this guy's. But he has other guys around him who have also gone through this. And there's a advanced class, and I'm gonna go. Hopefully, I can go through that. And I think
Well,
it's April sometime. But
I feel like a cult is just like there's something shared between them all. That's all it has to really be.
depends on what kind of cult you're talking about. If you're talking about the literal definition, yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you talk about like what is like a dangerous cult, or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it means
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
there's different dynamics that people try to put it in. I don't know. It's cool, man.
there's some
That's
pretty cool.
definitely cool
There's some
stuff.
pretty cool stuff that I hope you guys can go through it and
Yeah, it sounds
So you
cool.
guys
I
like
mean, it definitely caught my ear. I just like the testing.
it'll test you.
Yeah.
There's some things that I wasn't very good at, but there were some things that I was really good at.
Probably a
And
lot
that's
better
the
at
thing.
certain physical things than
Yeah, I mean, there's just different aspects of kind of physical stuff that I wasn't necessarily good at, but there's actually a lot more aspects that I was good at. But again, you guys have to go through it.
Mhm.
I don't want to continue to like
yeah.
keep
it's
saying like
interesting,
I guess
though.
you gotta keep going, but it's an awesome experience. It's a very very small group amount of people, and now there's like a women's one's Valkyrie, an advanced one which I'm gonna go to hopefully, and then there's like advanced that they're just now kind of starting up, and there's like a couples one, and
What about you, Hank? How's North Carolina?
North Carolina's awesome, man. I have a little spot with my girlfriend we live in, and work's going great. I work with really interesting stuff, interesting people. I talked to a guy in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, the other day, so I get to talk with like people all over the planet, which I get a real kick out of.
Why? Why?
Well, he was selling me. Basically, we work in a niche industry that works on AEM, Adobe Experience Manager.
Mhm.
A lot of the biggest websites in the world use it to basically, it's the CMS or the content management system that like structures the whole website. And through that, all these marketing things you hear about, like when you go on to like Kohl's and you go to shop and you have an account, it tracks what you're shopping with, and then it'll advertise certain stuff to you, give you deals. Like all that stuff is managed through this system, AEM. And so there's not that many people who are specialized in it. And there's a lot of demand because a lot of these big companies and companies that are moving to be bigger companies want to leverage the tool to be able to basically increase their sales or productivity or whatever it is. And so the guy in Vietnam is basically offering us resources, different people who are technically available to do it, to work on projects with us. So like the government comes to us, or a bank comes to us, or Walmart comes to us and says, hey, we're doing an upgrade project. We're moving from this to this, or we need this application. And we need developers and architects and all sorts of people to be able to do it.
Mhm.
And so Duck Ho is the guy's name.
Duck Ho.
Duck
Duck
Ho.
Ho was the guy who was we're trying to work with and see if we can find some people. So he's basically a recruiter. And so from that,
Why Vietnam?
So there's just different hubs where people are able to do it. So traditionally, it's always been India.
Yeah,
A lot of
makes sense.
technical talent in the United States actually comes from India because there's not enough people in the States that are able to do it. But with like visas and everything, there's so many people coming from India to try to work in the United States
Yeah.
that like you want people from other places too. So it's weird that the guy's in Vietnam. I don't really know his connection or what his team looks like, if he even has one, or if he could just be a guy hustling on LinkedIn. Like, who knows?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so he goes and finds the person.
Did you talk to him on the phone?
Video chat. So
Oh, you video chatted with him?
oh yeah, it's funny, dude. So I video chat with these people all over the world. A guy in Paris I talk to every once in a while. A guy in, guys in India, guys across the country, of course, and then this guy in Vietnam. And yeah, you like see kind of their living situation. You can, like before the meeting starts, you're always like bullshitting a little bit, and you can get a lot about their culture, and they're getting, they're doing the same thing back and forth. Yeah, so like job's cool. You
Yeah,
get to talk to
yeah.
people across the world. That's always great, and yeah, I don't know. So
Is
works
the beach
great.
warm? Is the beach warm still? No.
I mean, you're not swimming anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah, you still go to the beach. The other day I was walking on the beach and there's a sailboat beached. Like they had some trouble or lost a sail or something, and they were just beached up on the beach. It was so funny.
Dude, that would be the worst trying to get it back out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So you guys know what a gale is? Like a gale of wind?
Yeah.
gale of wind.
I know that from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
See, I had no idea what a gale was, but it's a certain classification of storm. So when the wind gets over like 40 knots or whatever it is, I think it's 35 to 40 knots or 60 knots or whatever it is. It's a gale of wind. It's really intense winds that happen on the coast, and it just tears boats up. So like a lot of the beach got washed away a while back from a gale, basically a windstorm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So there's all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a completely different world than
culture,
you're used
it's
to.
coastal, and then like the nature's way different. I go out in the woods there, and you don't know what anything is. It's amazing as I drive up north. It's like you get into the woods and you feel different. Like the dirt's different.
Yeah.
The animals living in the dirt. The plants are different to some extent. Like there, all the dirt is not dirt; it's sand. So all the trees have different root systems to deal with the sand, and they have to deal with hurricanes. So like they have a whole different strategy to stay alive, and stuff like that's really fun. They have lizards and frogs and stuff like that, which you don't really have here.
You said you saw a bear? Roadkill?
Yeah.
Roadkill.
So I'm cruising up through North Carolina, and I never thought I would see that, but a huge black bear just dead on the side of the road.
Huh?
Because there's a ton of bears down there.
That bear probably messed up that car.
Was it bigger than the one in the hallway?
Probably about the same size. So like pretty big bear.
Damn.
The one that we saw on our trip. Was it
Yeah.
about that size.
It might have been bigger than that
Bigger than
one.
that one. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that wasn't very
Dude, that
big.
one was ridiculous too.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah.
the
So
fact that I got him to come over.
that was sweet.
Who's the one who saw him? Like someone was just
I
like,
was
"Go
walking
get the
over
bear."
there, and then like I saw the bear walk out of there, and like he was gonna walk right across the road, and then I came over to the deck end. I was like, "Come here." And it was like a cat.
Come-
Got it within like 15 feet of us.
Yeah.
Just walking around.
Dude,
He was
if
just
that thing
chilling.
would have went on the
Dude,
deck,
to
that'd have
me,
been like,
you could tell, maybe it was just the summertime and that bear's fur was kind of messed up, but I thought he looked a little rough. I think it's because he was eating trash.
There's probably was eating trash.
probably yeah.
Just not a lot of food because all of like that.
Well, the easy food's the
Yeah.
trash from the tourists like
Yeah,
us.
that's true.
Yeah, and he's not going. If it's easy, he'll eat that. He won't go after anything else.
I'm just thinking about the game. All of that development probably scares off.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Here's my theory. So when I would go hike around in Athens, Ohio, I wouldn't see like any animals when I got into the woods, but you'd go walk around town, you'd see a ton of birds, a ton of squirrels, because
Easy food.
exactly. So like I think certain animal populations actually thrive in human
Oh,
environments
yeah.
and don't exist very well outside of them.
Pigeons.
I wonder how much they've evolved and how different like a certain bird who lives in
They're
the city.
weaker. They'll be weaker.
They're more successful though. They breed at higher rates.
Yeah, if breeding is the success rate,
Population.
but
Is that
some
not the success
species,
rate of a species? How many there are?
then where are we succeeding right now as humans? Just overpopulating everything?
Yeah. As a species, I mean, if that's the goal, I don't know.
I think
But
for higher
ants outnumber
level-
humans.
Yeah,
Yeah, higher numbers I don't think necessarily means succeeding. So they could eventually keep getting weaker and
Yeah.
sicker and older. And they don't live as long.
I mean, I went out hunting over the weekend, and
How was it?
it was good. We got a few rabbits, a lot of deer. I mean, like I was walking this field. I know where they run, so I like to walk their path because you always just kick one up, and they're like 5 or 10 feet away from you, and they just like hop up, and they're like, "What the?" Like,
Were you hunting deer though?
no. I was
Is it deer season?
Deer season's 29th.
Yeah. Well,
It hasn't started yet.
Bows right
Bows has started.
So
yeah, I'm
all
going
of
out. I'm
that's
going out
different
tomorrow.
there too in North Carolina. There's like a lot of weird laws and like cultural things that are just way different. Like
Yeah.
people are definitely killing deer already, and there's way more deer down there. They're smaller.
Oh yeah, there is. Up here, just so many people hunt up here that the deers are already so jacked up. I'm going out tomorrow probably in the afternoon.
Gonna sit in a stand, or you?
Yeah, I got a stand. I got John Haney. I got permission to sit in his
Farmer
woods.
John?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I bring my bow out and hopefully see something again. But
Yeah, I was walking the path and like I said, like 5 or 10 feet away from me, this little like it was probably about a 6-point buck, just like pops up and he like looks at me for a second, and I was like, "You're a big boy," and he like turned around and just ate it going into the creek. Fucking just dropped head first right in the creek, and like you could see he was completely hit the water. Then he like tries to run up the side and it's all mud, and he just slips completely. Is it cutting out?
A little
it
bit.
just did right there. Yeah.
It just like he just slipped completely. But that was quite funny. I scared up a doe too. She was pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a buck. I was sitting in the stand. I had a buck come right up. It's probably about 100 yards, and I can't shoot a bow 100 yards. So I'm just like sitting there waiting. I'm like, yes. Stops, just turns. Like, oh man.
Dude, I always just something.
I'd guess it's on this end.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can just talk into my mic if you want. That's funny.
What about now?
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
That might be better.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
What was I saying?
Something about deer.
Shooting deer,
Yeah, shooting deer.
scaring deer.
Hunting them. Bow hunting.
No, but like, oh yeah. I always just find where they travel, and then I just literally just sit on a tree, and they just walk like 10.
You normally
Yeah.
get one about every year, don't you?
Depends.
They're around.
I don't really like.
It helps to have some land where
Yeah,
they like hang out.
I don't really hunt them that often, just because it's so much process afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you butcher them yourself, it takes like hours after you even.
Weeks
I know.
sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm just gonna bring
rabbits
'em.
are just easy. Just pull them back and then bloop.
I like that.
That's another thing. There's like there's a fisherman culture down there, right? So like people will gift me like oysters or like snapper fish they caught.
Ooh, nice.
It's so funny, dude. Someone gifted me a snapper, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell am I gonna do with this turtle?" Because I thought it was a turtle. Snapper meant turtle to me, and I'm like
No.
texting my buddy like, "Hey man, do you know how to cook a turtle? Like I've never done that before." He's like, "Man, I don't know."
You thought the snapper was.
And then I open up the bag after the freezer to get ready to prepare this turtle, and it's just like 4 redfish.
I was gonna say. I was like,
Felt like a complete idiot. I had to text my friend like, "Hey, it's not a turtle. It's actually just a snapper fish."
I found one crossing the road. Might have been last summer.
Turtle?
Yeah, snapper, a big one. He was probably a foot wide. And I remember
Around here?
Yeah, he was crossing the road. It was
Really?
funny. He was real slow. Just
The turtle was slow.
you just walking. Except when you get close to him.
They're
Then
fast. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
fast.
Turtles are
Yeah.
underrated speed.
Oh, yeah.
Underrated speed.
No,
These
but
are sweet.
I came up behind him and picked him up and put him in a box. I remember Derby walked over to the box and then he stuck his nose in the box. And you just see, and like gets real close to his nose, and he's like, "Nope, I'm out."
Cool turtles.
Didn't
man.
get close to that box anymore.
Snapping turtles. I didn't know we had snapping turtles around here. I think we had like a bunch of other. I didn't know we had snappers though. I thought
City
they were a little
kids.
bit more south.
You can get them.
That's pretty sweet.
Same with the leatherbacks. There's leatherbacks around here.
Mm.
Those things are fast. Trying to catch one of those, so fast. Catch them in the canal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I used to do that when I was a kid.
Really?
Go down the canal and try to catch leatherbacks.
That's pretty sweet. I always went out and tried to catch some stupid crawfish.
Oh yeah, that too.
Those are fun to try to
Or
catch.
snakes. I like
Yeah.
trying to catch the snakes. Except the water moccasins. I just shoot those.
Yeah, screw the water moccasins.
There's a lot more snakes down there too. There's all sorts of different. It just doesn't get as cold. So like
Yeah.
I think reptiles and amphibians like it better.
Dude,
I had a
when I went to-
lizard in here the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was just like sitting there, and then a lizard popped out. I was like, no.
When I was in Texas, dude, there was a spider. It was freaky looking. It was like this big. It was just, we were just rocking, and there was this massive spider just runs right up. It was like, holy shit, it was huge, man. It's
Yeah.
ginormous.
It's good to travel and get around.
I want to go to like Asia sometime.
Me too, man.
I definitely want to see that
I wanna
like
go to Japan.
extreme.
Japan
Yeah, I
would be
definitely want to
sweet.
go to
Japan would be awesome.
for sure. Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
culture
Japan's, I think, 1/3 of the size of California, but has like 5 times as many people.
Yeah.
I just
a
want to
lot
try.
of
I just want to try their food.
Very productive.
I'm very fascinated
They
about
have
food.
to
I
be.
love food.
Oh yeah, that little land.
Hmm.
World War II is crazy.
That's true.
They were trying to like get
Take more
off
land.
the island.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to take more land.
Oh yeah.
That's why China doesn't like them because they just started
They
attacking
messed
China
up
too.
China, dude.
Yeah.
They were messing them up.
Oh yeah. Then China just ended up shooting itself.
Yeah.
Communism.
It seems to work. I've got really mixed feelings.
It seems to work.
No, seriously, dude. Like, think about all the problems. Like, when you think about the future that we're going to face, like, people in our generation, generations lower than us, are kind of addicted to like social media,
Hmm.
and whether it be TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, or video games and all those things. China's actively. So, like, Chinese TikTok, it's called something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
They-
what that podcast.
yeah,
was.
yeah, they
I was listening to
have-
this podcast.
They
What,
promote like science
Oh yeah.
and like
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah, but their promotion of science would be just what they want you to learn.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's good stuff though. They want them to be good scientists.
Yeah.
And like video games, they're capping kids off at 3 hours or something.
Right.
They're getting rid of feminized men in media.
Which you need
They
men.
are
No, they said there's a war of masculinity. They're targeting specifically to help men become more masculine.
Yeah, because you need masculinity in
Yeah, because
in societies.
testosterone levels they are so low, and they can see
Super
the
low.
birth rates too.
Yeah, we're like all Western civilizations' birth rate's like 1.7 or something like that.
No,
Like,
I think it's lower.
But if like
it might
the
be.
goal of your
I don't know.
society is to produce more or to grow GDP or whatever it is, they are taking better steps than the United States. I don't agree with the methods, all right? You should be free to choose.
But they're doing so by copying.
Well, they
The
cheat.
downfall of their system is that it creates no innovation. Because I think half of the innovation comes from somebody like, "Hey, I'm living in dirt, and I want to have a better life, and our system at least allows people to move to higher statuses within our society. Their system like
They're
de-incentivizes
They
at certain
actively
levels.
try to find the medium. So it's the state wants to fund and promote innovation.
It's all great until the state just says like, "Hey, we
I don't
need
think you can have
camps."
the state to do
which-
that. It's got to become some
So,
individuals.
but the U.S. itself isn't like it's a free market. Like it's not. There's
No,
so
it's not
much
at all.
regulation and
We have more 50% of the GDP comes from the government, right?
I think 60%
Yeah,
of
that's
jobs
what
in the
I
United
thought.
States are
Government jobs. That's
or
socialism.
directly related to
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like
That's socialism.
so in China it's maybe 90%.
Yeah.
But like
Well, and this is what I mean. It's like this seems like what people want. They're voting for it.
so that brings me to my great idea, Frank. Did you hear me, Jacob, talking about it earlier?
Maybe
So would the system work better if there was direct democracy?
no,
Okay. Well, that's
no, because democracy doesn't scale. Is because what happens is you just start importing
let's play at a
People
local
that are
level then,
easily
or a
sh-
county
sheep.
level.
at a county level. Yeah, direct democracy would work, but anytime it gets further than like that's. The problem is that you have sheep or dumb people start like voting on topics, and I know that's like callous, whatever, but it's the reality of
Do
it.
you think people would learn if they voted in something bad and something bad
No.
happened?
No, not at all, because it's already happened.
I
Wait,
think people
It's
would.
happened numerous times. Pol Pot,
Pol
Mao,
Pot? What are you talking
USSR.
Yeah, yeah, but
Nazi
those people
Germany.
weren't voting.
Dude, those people voted in the people of power.
that is true.
No. They took power. and were
I guess you could
forced.
say what the Reichstag fire was taking power, I guess.
But for the most part,
Somewhat.
they went along with it. They
Most
were
people just
like,
roll. with
Most
it.
people rolled
yeah,
with it.
They just
though.
rolled with
Most
it.
people roll with it here too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's just
People
what
do
people
not
do.
learn because people have short-term memory.
Sure, but even
People
if
do
so,
not
if you
want to
could vote
remember-
on the issue again, let's say you voted on it a year ago, and it comes up another year, and it's still direct democracy, and they see the results that didn't work, there would be an adjustment. They would people would hopefully learn and vote the other way.
A lot of
I think you have too much faith in
a lot of people vote.
I got a lot of faith in people.
A lot of people vote based like they don't vote on what they usually do in their life. Like
You know what?
They usually just vote for what everyone else wants to vote for, but they don't live their life that way.
I think
a lot of people do that.
A direct democracy would work if we were split into city-states. I think then it would work.
So if we were in a direct democracy system, I think it would be by default.
Power tends to centralize itself. It is right now, and that's like it's taking advantage of the faults in our republic.
Agreed. And I think so. Like if people had more
Taking
say,
advantage of faults in our republic, meaning like I'm a state and I'm gonna just make it so our popular vote matters only, no electoral college or anything. Because the whole point of the electoral college was to make sure that people that don't really have a clue what they're voting on have an equal say. It was like somebody that's super educated on it somewhat. That's the whole really the point of a republic is so you don't
That's
have
the
people.
point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that tends to it worked pretty damn well until they took away that, and now we see these giant swings.
Sure.
And
So,
the pendulum has started, and the pendulum it tends to, as it builds up more momentum, it'll swing farther the other way, and it tends to.
And I think that would still happen in a direct democracy.
Yeah,
But this is the idea, Frank. This is the idea. Besides whether or not direct democracy works, I get the arguments for and against. I'm not sure if I think direct democracy would work better.
I just don't think it scales.
Here's what you do, though. You run as a candidate who basically you create an app that allows you to vote, and whoever wants to within your county, let's say. So imagine I'm running for county. Anyone within the county can vote directly on anything I'm voting on, and I just do whatever the popular majority does. Whatever they say yes or no on, that's what I vote for with my vote. That they voted for me to be the representative.
But you're proving my point why you can't scale it too.
I don't think you necessarily have to.
Because reason why.
Like
if
some
you only
candidates
kept it
in
at
this
city
system-
states, yes. If you only kept it at city states, yeah, it would work to a point. But because we have a centralized government overseeing all of the states, that you do not want to go on majority votes because then you literally leave out states that don't have as much population but provide just as
I think
much.
we both are under the idea that local government, more localized power, state-based power is better than federal power. But I think this idea supports, it doesn't really scale well to the federal level.
This kind of takes away the thing of I say what everyone wants and I just do something different.
Exactly. I get voted in based on these popular ideas, but I vote the way that
here's the other
corporations pay me
problem.
to.
That stuff can work if it's a blank slate. Right now, I'm starting to understand that as libertarian as I am, or as classically liberal as I am, I understand that we're reaching an era where you can only have enough firepower if you centralize somewhat. That's the only way you can actually defend yourself because of how much money is needed to create the weapons that everyone else has.
Sure, and that's the argument of we want strong
military, whatever. But
defense.
I don't think I'm not saying that our system we just need to have a military state, whatever. I think that our system can be updated. I think one of those ways is allow people to allocate where their taxes go.
Again, supports the idea of direct democracy in the sense that if I was literally running on this platform, and that's what I vowed to do, people could vote on tax increases. I would try to be as transparent as possible.
That only works if you were in charge of the money.
I think as all the public money's supposedly public, you can just look it up. And as a representative, my job would be to inform. Mm-hmm. So rather than voting, I would inform myself, let any constituents who want to know via the platform, argue the good and bad of the vote as well as I could, and then they take the vote on it. Anyone who wants to. Obviously, most people aren't going to want to be that involved in the politics.
So what happens if that person who's running completely skews the data and explains the bad side as a good side, but well,
that's already what happens, right?
Right.
That's why I say even a better system was having a governing body that's automated. Having no person if you truly want a direct democracy, then you don't want anybody saying like, vote for me. You want to be literally voting on the issues that are coming up.
Well, that is a direct democracy.
My idea,
you're
my
making
idea
a smaller
works,
republic.
It works in the current system. Is the idea. Like the United States isn't going to change into direct democracy anytime soon.
It doesn't work in the aspect that you can't decide where your taxes go. That'll never happen until America falls. You'll never be able to decide where your taxes go.
Agreed. But a step in the right direction, I think, is having candidates who work as direct representatives.
I think an even better step in the right direction is just creating a system separate from it already.
And I think a lot of people are moving towards that.
And that's why I'm so invested and hyped about crypto, is because that's a system being built outside of this archaic system.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only way that they have our balls because they have the money. That's historically how everyone's centralized power the easiest is just to get all the money, get all the gold.
Mm-hmm.
And they control how you can spend it,
exactly.
where you can spend it, incentivize you to spend it in certain places versus other places.
So I think once the financial system has flipped to where it's crypto, then I think then the people actually have power, because then the government's going to be like, well, shit, we're not going to get any money.
Yeah, well, they'll have to adopt a more.
Yeah.
They'll have to basically allow.
They'll fight.
Well, they could go either way, right? They could do what Guatemala's doing and adopt. They're early adopters, and I think they'll benefit from that. So I don't think the United States will do that because they currently are the world currency in a certain sense. So it's.
I think they'll be forced to.
But they'll be a late adopter.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not that late of adopter. They just suck at doing everything. I mean, they've been knowing about crypto for like 2013. Mm-hmm. They've been writing about it. But it's like they just suck at everything they do. They literally can't even run a website.
Yeah, by design, they're slow.
Yeah, website's terrible.
And the websites are terrible, dude. I just had to close an LLC in Texas. What a pain in the ass.
Imagine how easy would that be if it was all decentralized and you could like. And this is the other thing is there's a generational gap in like tech common sense, not common sense, because I think the younger people have a gap of common sense versus the older people, but we have the technological common sense while they have the common sense.
Maybe so.
And that gap needs to be made easier to be accessible for it to be finally bridged.
The whole process of bidding on government projects. So like all the government websites that we've ever used have been basically built by private companies who've bid on the project.
Yeah.
And you're in that space. You do federal projects too. And the government doesn't seem to be very good at picking the right people to build the site. And like basically...
Well, because it's always the cheapest.
They always just choose the cheapest. And a lot of people will underbid and then they'll be like, hey... we built you a shitty site because we underbid this. Mm-hmm. And like the people in the government don't have the common sense or like the technical sense to be like, these guys are probably better. Well, we're going to pay a little bit more.
It seems like for a lot of like what we kind of do, for some reason, it seems like a lot of people who don't know anything about what we do, like construction, yeah, they get promoted and they have no idea.
Because they've
talking about
rubbed shoulders with the right people and climbed the political ladder.
You guys are talking about why they enacted the minimum wage.
How so?
Because blacks from the South were coming up to the North and outbidding whites in the North for their government jobs. The whites in the North were like, hey, let's just make this so we all just make a base pay so they can't outbid us.
It's the prevailing wage kind of stuff.
Yes.
The prevailing wage is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
It'll take a $20 job and make it a $60 job.
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
A heck of a lot more. Like some guys are making like $100 an hour.
I always think it's funny.
Of like 401k, but
there's construction going on in my neighborhood, and on either end of the construction, because it takes one lane of traffic, there's a person with a stop sign, and then they flip it to slow and they let the traffic come through. They could just do that with a stoplight. Like you'd have a mobile stoplight on either end, and it could just flip-flop, and you could have sensors in the middle to basically prove there's no cars coming, and it'd flip. But they're paying two people prevailing wage to flip the sign,
Flip the sign, oh yeah.
Because it provides jobs, and there's like, the government thinks it's important to provide jobs, but really it just wastes resources that
Well,
could
they're
be
not-
going
and-
elsewhere.
And it's like they try to like make comparisons like, oh, this new infrastructure bill is like FDR's New Deal. And it's like, no, it's not at all.
This
The
is more.
no, the FDR's New Deal, he funded private enterprise.
Mhm.
This is funding public enterprise. Like, the public is terrible with the money. And like, even they can't even fund private enterprises anymore because the private enterprises just take advantage of the whole system so much too.
Well, everyone kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a government project. We can add 10%, extend the deadline 6 months, and like,
Yeah, government jobs are the main reason why you have like wage stagnation and all of this other shit.
I don't know, man. It's interesting.
I'm a big proponent that all the problems created today are from government.
I think that's a wild overstep.
I think
I don't think the government really affects. I argue I'm pretty heavy in the Libertarian Party down there, and have this argument with my friends often, because they're all in the mindset of the government is ruining everything, and in my mind, it's like, dude, it barely affects my life.
how does it not? You pay taxes on
That's
everything
the
you
biggest
buy.
thing. Besides taxes,
That's the only thing that
Regular-
matters.
I agree. I'm a libertarian. You know,
Yeah.
I buy into it, but like,
No, but the point, I mean, like, that's literally all that matters. That's why we had a revolution, was because of taxes. That's the only thing that matters. In my book, I mean, that's why wars are fought.
where you're able to spend your resources and how much of your effort turns into resources is a big deal.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. But
And that's why we need a new system.
the government's, it's not the government's fault. Like, some people will have, like, they'll shoot themselves in the foot and then they blame the government because it's just like the easy cop out. And I don't like that.
A lot of people do that, and I don't.
Or
like
blaming
that either.
anything, you know. I think people
Well,
should take.
It's an extreme
then
ownership.
what's a solution for the individual? What, like, because we are just giving.
You work outside of it.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if we actually want to help people, we got to figure out what is a solution for people then.
Yeah,
Like,
I
because
think-
we're just talking about these things that, yeah, they could work, but the reality is that they're never going to be adopted. But we ourselves can come up with solutions that
It's
that-
down to the
yeah.
individuals in the community
Exactly.
to choose better ways of doing it. And
And I think
the
as
federal government will basically lose power. They can't enforce half the stuff they're
what
trying
I
to
think what's
enforce.
going to happen is as they overreach more and more and more, you lose all the productive people. That's just historically what happens. All the productive people leave. Then everyone that's stuck there is like, well, shit, no one's starting new companies here. No one's like importing anymore. No one's exporting anything. Everything's dried up.
So I think it's just a vicious cycle of a rise and the fall of civilizations just constantly over and over again because
Oh, it definitely is. History
it sucks
shows
because
us
like
that.
I listen to all of this stuff and we kind of keep debating this. I have never once heard like any good solutions ever.
That's what I'm saying. Is
And it just
why-
seems like we just keep on going down the same path over and over and over and over again. And it just seems like we're heading to this spot of just
Yeah, so as individuals,
What
you
the
try
crap
to
do we do?
you got to try to play the angles to better yourself and your family and your friends.
And that's
Correct,
why. That's
correct.
what I'm saying is like if you yourself, what you could do is start it yourself. It's like why does Elon want to go to Mars? It's because he's like, fuck this place. Everyone sucks. Like,
Nah,
dude,
he's got
kidding
many
me?
reasons. I think
No,
that's
I-
probably part of it. He wants to have his own little.
He wants to have his own civilization. Because
society,
he's like,
yeah.
if this one doesn't want to work for like help, then I'll just make my own. I feel like more and more people are going to do that. Because you had that push in the 30s.
I mean,
like
we
during
all
Depression.
do it, right? How many people during COVID or just throughout life decide to start their own business? It's basically because they don't want to work within someone else's system, whether it be a corporation or a small business, whatever it is. They think they can do it better themselves, and they do it. And I think that philosophy, if you take that into more aspects of your life, when it comes to like buying food or trading, it's freeing.
Yeah.
It allows you to have more power over yourself and your own decisions and your own wealth.
But I
That-
think it's like, it needs to
that
be
pretty
more.
much explains what they kind of do at this gladiator thing.
It
It's
needs
just
to
like,
be more
take
than a
control of your fucking
business,
life.
though. It needs to be more than a business. Because, like, I get it that
No business is just a business.
no, and that's what I'm saying is that you hear everyone say like, "Oh, you want to make your own income, you got to start your own business." It's like, no, you need to figure out a skill that you can build a business on top
You
of.
need to add value to something.
Yes, you
so
can't
someone
just
will
build
pay
it.
to
You
do
can't just here's a business.
Sure,
you gotta create
provide
something.
value.
Yeah, no free lunch, like, and that's I think.
Any good entrepreneur does that.
Yeah,
though.
and I feel like it's you hear it being like entrepreneurship being pushed a lot, and it's like the way it's being pushed is odd to me.
Well,
because they're not pushing the
it's-
skills that make the entrepreneur. They're pushing like
entrepreneurs get their own skills that make them
Exactly.
entrepreneurs. Yeah, but like, just be interested in stuff, and basically that's what it is, right? Any business that interacts with another business or another person is providing some source of value.
Well, and that's like not most, but from my understanding, businesses that are very productive are ones that are or somebody started them that was already in that industry, saw a problem, and was like, "This can be solved." Business, not like I'm just gonna go in this field and start a new business and not know anything about it. Like, you gotta definitely go on the route of what you know yourself. If you don't know it, then figure it out first.
I don't think anyone just claims to be an entrepreneur and just is like, I started a business and doesn't add value. They won't survive.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I see so much about like drop shipping and stuff like that.
Those people are adding, I don't know, that stuff. There's no easy way to make a ton of money.
It's like but
some people do make money doing
It's
that
like
stuff.
our website we're trying to do.
Yeah, tell us about your guys' stuff.
Asgard Energy, we're going to start a little bit of an affiliate program, but our goal is to create a place where people can actually go and get supplements that other people, or they can read the research on.
And it sounds like supplements
that's what
plus like a place
Information.
information.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
knowledge.
How do I get started? How do I become healthier? We're gonna make we want to make like a workout program for beginners and then advanced and so forth.
That net can go so wide and be so personalized for so many people and help them out.
Because there's already so many supplement companies out there already. It's like, why reinvent the wheel? You just want. I would rather just be able to go to somewhere that it's like, oh, here's as unbiased as they can be. Like, we tried the product. This is what we thought of it. These are the benefits we found from it. It gave us like a great pump, whatever.
At a competitive price.
Yeah.
Along with other cool stuff like these are books to read or these
Yeah,
are
exactly.
That's one thing we want to do. That. What was that? The Mimir?
Mimir's library.
Mimir's library.
I love the
Norse.
what do you call it? Like
Norse.
is that Greek mythology?
Norse.
Like,
Norse
Norse
gods.
mythology.
Norse
Yeah.
mythology. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's the whole theme we want to go.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
what
branding
that's what
is smooth.
Asgard is like, the place where they lived. Yeah. So like Marvel.
No,
movie?
from Marvel. Yeah, yeah.
But that's kind of what they
Marvel.
yeah.
based
you
on
guys,
Marvel,
You guys
man.
are a Marvel-based company.
You guys start saying like action figures.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Marvel, don't sue us.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
Marvel's just
Disney
watching.
Comes with the
yeah.
clamps.
We just get cease and desist letters. You are not licensed to sell Marvel.
Get
Marvel.
called from Mickey Mouse himself.
They're trying to sue us for using Asgard, and it's like,
No, dude, you don't own
That'd be an
Asgard.
overreach. That would be an overreach.
but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you guys can do with it.
It's very fresh. Trying to reach out to some people, maybe get some more products, but we definitely need to get
We're
sit
gonna
down
get
and
some
actually like
products
create.
in, and then test those out too. But we're kind of starting off, like you said, getting the information down, easily accessible, because we just want to like, and not. We'll probably link some technical shit, but it's like just easy to read. Because a lot of this stuff is too technical. It's like
People are going to go as deep as they want to go.
yeah. And
Yeah,
if,
we can provide them with the
Portals to
link
other
and portals
places,
and stuff, but we'll read it
base
actually.
information, yeah.
What you need to know.
Yeah, they're going to trust you guys to do the research, and that's your brand integrity. Is like,
Yeah,
this is actually
reputation.
good stuff, and I will suggest it to my
Because
friends.
that's the thing that's like there's no reputation really anymore behind a lot of products.
I think it's everything.
and that's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like I see so many of these.
No, what really made me upset, Frank? This flannel I'm wearing right now. You gave me a flannel a while back, that
Yeah.
red one. The best flannel, dude. It's thick.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like the best buttons. It's the best. I bought this from that company expecting the same quality and the same level. And it's not as
Not
good.
close.
It's close. It's still a good flannel, but like it's not nearly as thick. It's not nearly as durable. I watched it a couple times. I could see it kind of like fraying a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
like-
and stuff's like gonna become more and more cheaper.
well, that's the thing. They just had to cheapen the product to stay
Yeah.
competitive. I'm sure that flannel would cost me now like $100. This
Probably.
was 40.
Yeah, but
Or
if you,
something.
it, but
I don't
if
remember how
that's the thing, if you inform them that hey, this stuff is actually good, it'll last longer.
Right.
Just like our products, the products that we want to like,
No,
this
people
is
will pay
actually
more, or
this
they'll-
is actually good stuff. It's not a bunch of filler crap in it. And
Yeah, and then you maintain the brand. And what are like the best brands that you can think of? You know, like Patagonia has always been used as a high quality brand who pays people pay a premium for REI or some of those like
North
rugged
Face,
North-
whatever.
North Face-
They're on the edge now.
Mhm.
They used to be good. The outdoor shit.
Carhartt's pretty nice.
Carhartt's even kind of.
It is. They're kind of.
They're
It's
kind of
hard.
starting to get cheaper.
They don't want to charge $300 for a Carhartt jacket.
No,
They
but
rather
that's
charge $100.
Dude, I remember when like people would pay $300. Like they want that.
They want it.
Carhartt.
dude. It's
They
like
won't do that
book.
anymore
It's like
anyway.
boots.
Well, they wanted to reach more people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes on a business end. The management team's looking like, if we charge this much, we can get 60% more penetration in the market. How do we do that? And they cut costs, and their stuff gets a little cheaper, and it gives opportunity to other brands to have higher quality stuff. And then they'll probably do the same thing if they sell out. You know, they cheapen their goods to reach broader market using skirting on the brand name of what they used to be. And that's just how it goes, especially in fashion.
I think they'll just run their brands to the ground. I think it's a three generation lasting lasts.
I mean, like Nike's
Yeah,
one of the biggest brand stories.
That's what I mean. I feel like it's like three generations of leaders.
That's what it usually is. Most companies fail after 3 generations.
Because the last generation runs into the ground, spends all the money
Yeah.
invested in.
I think corporate bloat happens. I think a lot of money is wasted on like the business side of things, or like people get promoted for the wrong reasons instead of being better. It's really hard. It's hard to keep it all straight when your team, you know, Nike probably employs thousands, tens of thousands of people, like, or whatever brand. As the team gets bigger, it's harder to, you can't micromanage
Well,
things.
that's like
so
then Pareto's distribution starts to take place, where
it's
like
crazy.
20%
Just like the
of
government, right? They're-
Exactly like the government.
the reason why there's bloat is because they've allowed it to be, because there's no,
They create bloat
on purpose
to give people
sometimes.
jobs.
The whole job creation thing is a wild one. I almost want to hear people, like, I don't think people can debate the other side of that, think that government jobs are great. Like,
They do.
jobs need to be, like, I guess they just have a different point of view on economics as a whole and like what production is.
They don't fully comprehend it most of the time.
I mean, I would think so, but I don't know. I'd want to.
They just see, oh look, easy job, I'm taking that.
Or money.
Or money, yeah.
I mean, as an individual, but I mean, as a philosophy, like, how do people?
because they don't understand it.
Maybe so. I don't know. I need to talk to more like, I want to talk to like real hard-out lefties who really think they know their shit.
I don't
get the often to.
I don't get a
chance
lot
to
off-
very
I don't know. I always
Yeah.
just thought it was weird because it's like you want monopolies then. If you're for socialism, you're like, as much as they're for the worker, it's like you're creating a monopoly.
I guess there are whole arguments based on greed is bad and people making money is inherently greedy. Like, I get that whole mindset, but like the greed also drives innovation, which makes you able to buy better products for cheaper.
I don't know. The one thing that seems to always just prove a lot of them wrong is death.
Death? How
You,
so?
like, I'm just saying, like, we've been detached of what happens when socialism is brought to a pinnacle. We're detached from the realities of what it causes.
It doesn't seem to work at a large scale, but I think like within communities or trust, like as long as everyone actually pulls their weight, it's fine, but people don't.
Well, they're like, there's not a lot of.
Sounds good on paper, but human nature.
Yeah,
will
just
allow
read
it.
Animal
yeah.
Farm. Like Animal Farm is a pretty good book about socialism, communism.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it seems like that's the one thing that definitely proves a lot of their points wrong is just showing history. And then a lot of the people that preach that stuff,
Just say they didn't do it right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's the
crazy.
problem. It's just like a vicious cycle of just like blame placing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'd rather just be like classically liberal, where it's like, I don't care what you're doing. As long as you don't affect me, why should I care what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
contribution is required here.
Yeah.
There's certain. Saul, you probably lean a little bit more like traditionally, like more of a Republican than like a libertarian on certain topics, like maybe abortion or like.
you gotta. I hate when people do that because like I believe in specific things. Like if it's specific items or specific topics, I'll believe in this. Or another one, I'll believe in this. Like I don't. Like, give me a topic of
Yeah,
like
but
people
you-
keep saying that. Like,
You don't buy into like
Dude, here's the-
libertarian heart.
Yeah.
Like Frank's real deep on that shit. He's probably more of an anarchist than a libertarian.
yeah. I like to say I'm classically liberal,
Yeah, that's
meaning
fair.
like
but like
the classical ideal of liberty.
like we keep doing these broad things. Like, I'd rather go into more of like specific topics, specific
I mean,
things
that's where the differences lie. That's where we might differ in opinion.
exactly. But
I guess
it
what I'm
seems
trying
like-
to fish for right now is some
And-
opinion that I can argue
Well, and it's
with
like
you against. You know,
you'll end up categorizing yourself.
give
You'll
me
end-
something like something
like
that
abortion's a pretty easy one.
yeah. So abortion. So like there's actually a bill that was coming in Salina. It was
Yeah, what was that all about? That was
Sanctuary City.
crazy. Is that happening?
So it got voted down.
Okay.
Good.
So it's not a sanctuary city.
Weren't they going
Sanctuary
to pretty
city,
much
yeah.
enact a separate court system?
No.
Isn't that what happened on the other one that they called sanctuary? Are you know what I'm talking about?
I know
No,
that
so-
Salina
so-
was
so the
fighting to ban
sanctuary-
abortions.
sa- yeah,
Is there
sa-
even an abortion clinic in
No.
Salina?
So the sanctuary city. So this bill was just pretty much say that you can't you can bring in like an abortion clinic, but you can't actually do the act of abortion. So like you can bring in Planned Parenthood all you want, anyone can come in, but you can't actually do the act of abortion in Salina.
I want to see the
But, like,
actual
Planned
bill.
Parenthood does a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's like
it-
birth
it-
control. And,
Yeah, but yeah, you can bring it exactly. Like it's not banning that; it's just you can't do the act of abortion. That's what the bill was. That's what the sanctuary city thing was.
I want to read the actual bill just because I feel like
Because I
Bill,
talked to
I
talked
feel
to
like
Eric
there's gotta
Clausen
be-
about it a little bit. Not a whole lot, but you can probably talk to him about it because he was big. I mean, I went to there was a bunch of people who showed up
I
for.
feel like
and-
they just did that stuff so people would be like excited about local politics for a minute. Like what if
I know.
No,
That's the weird. It's like there's no abortion clinics here.
it's because
It
no.
doesn't
So
affect-
what happened was Biden said we're going to have resources for abortion in every zip code. So now it's forcing all of the cities and counties to actually bring this bill up. Like it's forcing them to do this. So and I'm pretty sure Salina, from what I've heard, Salina was just like, all right, we're going to get it out of the way. We need to get it out of the way.
get ahead of it?
Get ahead of it.
okay.
Get it out of the way. That's what happened. So it's not necessarily like they just.
Oh, okay.
that makes
So
a
I was-
lot more sense.
Yeah, because
Like,
I was under the
thinking,
assumption
why
that they were
would
like,
they do
yeah,
this?
No.
Exactly.
So yeah. So it was kind of forced upon them, and they're just like, we're going to get ahead of it. We're going to get it out of the way. But yeah, for me, for abortion, I think it's absolutely wrong. I don't.
But you
see
do
that.
think like wearing a condom's all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, do you think like birth control's all right? Like taking a pill or something?
No, it fucks people's hormones up.
But
So,
do you
like-
think
like-
people,
so-
do you
so-
think people should be allowed to
so-
do it?
so- so there's
like you
different-
personally. So do. I guess
For
that's where you draw the
abortion.
line.
Are
Abortion,
you
right?
are you saying? I understand where you're going. Do you think the government should be able to say you're not allowed to have an abortion, even like, or are you fine with just being like, I myself am against it? I'm not saying that you have to have the government enact a law on everyone else.
So this is where I kind of come in, like with the libertarian and the conservative part, as you guys, as what people like to say.
Because the Republican stance
there-
is yes, abortion should be illegal. Traditionally.
I do believe that there is things that that government should say no to,
like murder
like murder.
or stealing.
There already are laws
Yeah,
in
exactly.
place for this stuff. I believe that abortion should be one of those laws
Because you think it's murder.
because it's murder. There's already laws against.
Murder.
Well, because what's the there's already laws against the inception, not inception. What's the word for like when the
Conception.
conception?
When
like
conception is
yeah, conception.
at conception versus 6 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, that happens when the sperm hits the eggs and you start having that no one is forcing you to have a baby. There's already laws against you from people forcing you to have a baby. But I think there should be a law that if you do have a baby, you can't kill that baby because there's already a cell and there's life.
Mm-hmm. But like, I guess the logical argument, not the legal one, is what's much more different about conception, so that, like the sperm actually hitting the egg versus like the sperm like hitting a toilet or like, you know what I mean? Like
Here, Jacob, move your mic a little bit.
there's
Am
not
down?
that big of a difference
Perfect.
physically from that sperm just not getting, like, even wearing a condom. Like, you just stopped it right before it does. And I respect you drawing the line there, at least.
Yeah, there is a line. Once that
but-
sperm hits the eggs and that egg is fertile and starts to create, that is life.
Don't sometimes females, like,
And there's already
after a sperm hits the egg, don't sometimes, even after it's fertilized, don't they, like, sometimes push it out anyways?
the-
No,
there's some-
there's a natural behavior actually that the egg will pick the best sperm. So like women are designed to have multiple sperm inside of them at once, and the egg will pick whichever one it
And it
thinks is
ditches
best.
some of them, right?
Yep.
So is that murder? Is
you
she
can't- you can't-
murdering the?
What?
You can't. I mean, those are all natural things. Like abortion is not natural. Like, do you actually know what they do when they abortion? They
A
actually
lot of things are natural that you can't do. I can't go out and kill someone. That's natural.
Borderline.
Yeah, that's what I
It
mean.
happens in nature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is there's only
Pot's natural. It's illegal. Or what else? What other natural things are illegal? I get the argument.
oh yeah.
I'm
I
kind of being a
understand that.
dick here. Like,
No, it's fine. That's fine. I mean, and honestly, I never thought about that way. So I'm
I
glad
think-
you brought it
I
up, because
think-
now I'm going to try to form
Well,
some kind of.
that's
And
That's exactly what we need.
I think that's the
That's a
exact
great-
reason why there shouldn't be laws about it.
Because
Is
it's
the fact,
it's such
the
a
fact
touchy
that
subject.
we are arguing this much over
it's
it right now.
so hard to draw
I
the
feel
line.
like when there are moments like when you have such polarized sides against a idea, no one should make it. No one
So
should.
so
like,
so that, like when the
yeah. Yeah, the individual should.
might.
No one as a group should.
But you don't want people capping their 3-year-olds because, like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely understand that.
So do you guys believe that that's a life though?
well, that's so individually on my end, personally, I think it's really hard to say. If I knew that my girlfriend or wife was pregnant, I wouldn't want to get an abortion. In almost any situation, at all costs, I wouldn't want to. At that point, personally, but I can understand why some people might want to, and I don't think the state should decide. To me, it's a gray area. It might. I
Well, to
don't-
me, it's like, what if you're? Imagine if you're low income or whatever, and you accidentally have a baby. The baby is, it's going to be mentally retarded. You cannot support it or anything.
You use adoption.
Is the kid going to have a great life? Like,
At least he has a life.
yeah,
There's good arguments.
that's true.
For it.
There's an argument,
And
for
that's
all of
why
it.
I would-
That's why we're talking about it right now. And that's
Now, do I think it's murder? I don't think so. But
So
Would I wanna do it at basically all costs?
Like after
Yes.
conception.
if
I
they
mean,
sucked
and-
it out
and-
with a vacuum or however they do it,
No, do they like what they do is actually babies? They actually like shoot them with like pretty much acid.
and it just like kills the
It
fetus.
pretty much just burns them.
disintegrates. Well,
Yeah.
it like they literally break out into pieces and then they'll pull out the
It
individual
literally
parts.
just burns them. Like it's absolute, and those babies
They
actually
come
have
out.
feeling.
They'll come out in pieces. Yeah,
Doesn't
and-
it take a certain level to where they actually have feeling though, or like
certain threshold.
I don't know.
of-
People try to draw the line in
Yeah.
different places. Of when it's a baby and versus when
I
it's
think
just
even
a
So
At that
I mean,
point,
and
it's
I
hard
hate
to-
I hate when people say, "Oh, it's just a cluster of cells." Well, so are we.
yeah,
We're just a lot more cells than what those things are.
sure. I don't know.
That's what we are, aren't we? We're just a cluster of cells.
Definitely.
We just have more.
Yeah,
Well, we have sentience.
we have sentience. They don't. Animals are clusters of cells. We kill those.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't. We do.
That's what I mean. Is
I'm not,
I think
I'm not, I don't think
I
the
think consciousness plays a large role in it.
I think so too. But you could argue consciousness doesn't happen until they're like
well,
couple years old.
the
Yeah,
consciousness.
exactly.
so.
the
Like you don't want people
consciousness.
capping 2-year-olds
Yeah.
either.
So the consciousness. What happens if you're a vegetable and you can't do anything? You're in a coma. Like
Yeah.
you can just kill them? You can't do that.
I mean, if they give you permission, they can.
They can't sometimes.
Yeah,
They
they
can
can't sometimes.
sometime.
Wait, are you just allowed?
Again,
because
it's a
conscious, I
very-
don't think is because
It's a very similar argument. That's a good point.
yeah. I mean, you can't just kill someone because they're unconscious. They're in a coma or
I
they're
know,
a
but
vegetable.
I think some people would argue that you could.
What if they've talked to him about it? Because like
In this
but
situation,
you can't talk to a baby about it.
Let's say the situation is the person is born and is like a vegetable, like mentally retarded to the point where they can't communicate, and they grow up. Should they is it unethical to kill them? Is it wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong to kill a person. That's
Is it? So it's a person then. So then, like, your argument against it being a cluster of cells
no. I'm saying
doesn't really
you're
count.
talking to me about if they grew up and everything. Are you talking about
Yeah,
just killing
they're
the
like,
person?
they're like on feeding tubes. Like,
yeah, but I'm not saying you should. Like at that point, you can't just kill like a 20-year-old.
So you think that's definitely a person, even though it's not conscious? They're not conscious. They're not able to prove or communicate.
But they got a heartbeat. They're
They
breathing.
don't react to stimuli even.
Yeah.
Well,
There's people like that.
I mean, yeah, I understand why they would. It's a net negative on the entire taxpayer. If you're looking at
If the
everything,
government's supporting it, if
Yeah.
it's a regular individual, then whatever. But if if the community is supporting it, it gets a little weird.
that's what I mean. You can look at it.
But
like,
I mean, the communities doing abortion. Most abortion clinics are run from tax.
To me, that's absolutely ridiculous.
I think that's
yeah, that's ridiculous. I agree. The government should not be.
But so that is one thing
That's my
I
point.
strongly agree on is
The government
I strongly
shouldn't do anything.
that is one thing I do think the government should step in and say no.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I kind of get difference between libertarian and conservative. There are some things
they're
that
paying for it, or on the basis that they're murdering someone, they should say no to abortion.
murdering
both.
people.
Yeah.
Well, kind of both. I just don't think abortion should
I don't
happen.
think the government should pay for it in any shape.
Absolutely not. And I don't think but I think the government should say you can't have an abortion. If you don't want the baby, you can give up to adoption. I hate when people say, "Oh, but the
So would you want the
The system
government
is
To pay for orphanages,
Yeah,
I mean, don't they already do?"
not really. I mean, they do to some degree.
some
I'm
degree,
sure.
but a lot of the orphanages are private.
No,
Everyone
I mean,
knows
I-
that.
I don't-
Everyone
I don't
knows
want
the
the-
story about the rich orphan kid who came back to his orphanage and it's Bruce Wayne. What is it, Bruce Wayne? No.
I mean, I don't know if we should bring Batman into this conversation, but
You know what I'm talking about, though. The
yeah,
kid-
I don't know the structure of
No, I mean it.
orphanages.
Whatever.
As
besides
long
that.
as that baby has a life and has an opportunity to do things.
I think the same thing. I don't know if the government should tell people they can't, though.
I think
Like I don't want to. I don't think people should, but I don't.
And see,
I don't have the
I'm
authority
running
to tell
in-
them
right.
yes or no.
I
Nor do I think
get what
the
you guys are
government
saying
does.
because there's a lot of things that I don't think the government should. I kind of starting to think about things about the conservative and the libertarian party, and it kind of seems as though like the libertarian party kind of takes a stance of they don't want to take a stance at all. We're just going to say everyone can do whatever they kind of want,
If it
and the
doesn't-
government can't do anything. It doesn't affect me.
as long as it doesn't affect others. So like
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want, literally, unless it affects someone else.
I can't open a factory and just dump all of my sewage into a lake that
It
everyone
affects
lives
tons
on.
of other people.
Right. But I mean, it kind of seems as though like a lot of the like drugs and stuff is like, I mean,
Or like speeding, right? Speeding. I should be allowed to speed,
I just think that
but it makes it more likely that I wreck into someone else, ruining their lives or day.
it seems as though the Libertarian Party like I agree with a lot of stuff. I don't think the government should, but it's hard because I think the Libertarian Party doesn't want to take a stand, so they're just kind of
no,
saying.
I think the Libertarian Party
The
says
stance is clear.
the stance is clear, meaning the government's already big now.
Not a stance. A too simple of a stance for complex issues.
I think
It's
that's the
way
point.
too simple.
That's the point.
It's just power and force upon
Yeah.
other
Because
people.
like most situations are way too complex for just saying one thing. Like it's like
Exactly. It's
Exactly.
very individualized.
Exactly.
It is.
It's maybe it's in between two people, and those people got to.
I like
deal with
to. I've heard someone say conservatives are progressives that drive the speed limit.
Yeah, Republicans or Democrats going the speed limit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
say that one more time.
Republicans are Democrats going the speed limit. All Republicans are for big government. They're
Yeah.
all supporting the Fed. Like
They want more laws.
They
The libertarians are
ultimately-
like the government's. We're way past the point of it's too big. We need to go backwards. We need less
well,
laws.
I guess and I don't think the federal government should say anything. I think the states and the local government should absolutely say something. I don't think the federal government should say anything.
I think in
about
that system, especially in the case of like abortion, like if I lived in a county or a state that was like abortion's murder, you can't do it, and I really felt strongly about it, you could just move to
Exactly,
Indiana.
and
or
that's the
move-
point of the
States.
republic. Yeah.
or counties. I think
Yes.
it's the smaller the better in large parts.
Now, yeah. So,
So you're
I
literally
think,
you're talking like the old world Republican, the real meaning of the word Republican, the one who supports the republic.
yeah. I want the states to have all the power. If another state doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to ban it, I completely disagree with them. I want them to, but I can't do it. But I want my place where I live to ban it. I think the government should say no.
Yeah, and you'd live in a community with people who hopefully agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's what America's built for.
That's I don't know. I don't get why people are like, oh, the federal government's gonna.
Yeah, and that's what
What-
the libertarians are like. The federal government's way too big. Like they don't need to be telling.
Right.
I think a lot of Republicans would say that too, and
I don't think
a lot of lefties, a lot of Democrats would actually say that too.
I think that
Yeah.
people are just so caught up with categorizing everything.
I mean,
they can't
because
just-
Republican and Democrats, it's literally
Full
just a
circle.
circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
full
just a
circle.
full
They're a lot
circle.
more the same than they are different.
Well, no, they meet at the end. Both end in dictators.
Yeah, exactly.
Or totalitarian states.
Or some dystopia kind of bullcrap.
I was
I
listening
don't know
to
if
a
they lead
guy.
to dictatorship.
I was listening to a guy.
Dystopia. It leads to kind of dystopia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for socialists.
Socialist, communist.
Well, no. Socialist is like far left. Authoritarian is far right, like Mussolini, fascism, right? Yeah, Mussolini would have been fascist, and then the left would be like communists. Socialism is just the economic system.
It's too hard to put on the line.
But they both meet. I'm saying they meet they meet together, like they're full circle because they both end in absolute control. No, but I listened to this. I forget, he was like a refugee of some communist place. I forget what it was, but he had an interesting idea about was why Trump is not authoritarian and Biden was because an authoritarian a feature of authoritarianism is that the system supports the leader. He said the system did not support Trump. Thus, he was not an authoritarian. He did not have full control over the entire system.
So I guess there's another.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting
I think
idea.
the system supports Trump.
So what
The media doesn't.
what exactly?
The media did not support Trump, did they?
The media did not.
Some of them did. A lot.
Did all of the media? Did the largest media companies support the actual system?
Is Fox?
MSNBC.
Is Fox the righty one?
Even Fox is still like,
They were hard Trump people, dude.
yeah,
For sure. They're a massive media company.
that's one though. MSNBC, CNN, ABC. What are the other ones?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. No, but you get what I'm saying. I get what he was talking about. It makes sense.
Trump?
No, the refugee, like that authoritarians need to have the system backing it. But Mussolini,
Well,
I think, had a quote about this.
In the
like,
sense of like an actual dictatorship, yes.
yeah.
But like America's not, like the president does not have the power that everyone assumes he does.
No.
Like
He thinks he does.
He thinks the executive power, the executive orders are
the
absolute
people in
bullcrap.
Congress and in the Senate, those people have a lot of power still. And those people, I think, have a lot more power than the president does
Absolutely. That's why there's more
as
of
a
them.
group. And that's the point.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. The president really doesn't have that much power.
Just as
Seems
enforces
to be
the
getting-
laws that
seems to be getting more power
Yeah.
as the executive orders start being a thing. But like, they can't really enforce a lot of those by design. And they shouldn't be
they
able
can.
to enforce any
They
of those.
can't enforce it by design. But what's happened is they've created entities outside of the organization or the design of the system to regulate those systems. OSHA is not a government. Like,
Yeah.
you think the founding fathers were like, OSHA, we need OSHA. No. like,
OSHA, Medicare, Medicare, Medicaid, those kind of things. Like, so like,
there are means to basically, like with the vaccine stuff, because it's Medicaid, those people need to get vaccinated. It's a way to force the hospitals into max vaccination because, and it's from the executive order, not through like the police officers or like.
Well, and then the 6th District Court overturned it, and now he came back to the court and said, hey, you should really rethink this because we're costing people their lives.
It's a weird one, man. Livelihoods.
Well, no, he said no.
lives.
He said
He said
lives.
lives.
He said they're costing people lives.
But that's the argument of the pro-vaccine, right?
It's overwhelming. They never say numbers or anything. It's just overwhelming and tremendous spread, surges of COVID.
So a big one to me on this whole argument, and I don't really give a shit if you're for
Dude, it's
vaccines
just,
or
to me,
against,
it's just all
but
propaganda.
should you be allowed to kill yourself?
Yes,
So
100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, you
In
can't,
any sense, you should
can't
be able to.
prosecute a dead person though.
You can't prosecute a dead person. You should be able to.
But you can get in trouble for trying to
endanger
kill yourself.
If it's only you involved, like drugs, this is the best argument for any drug legalization is I should be absolutely allowed to do whatever the fuck I
Yes.
want with my body. Like
Exactly.
and that's that. Like
No, yeah, I agree.
if it doesn't hurt anyone else, then what's they have no
No, but
means.
the thing,
So like
how
then
they,
how can they enforce
Safety.
vaccines?
safety. It's all safety.
Yeah, but they can't tell me to be safe for my own sake.
Yeah, but the majority wants to be safe. That's
The
all.
majority wants you to be safe, so they'll put pressure on you.
Because they think that the only way for me to be safe is if you're safe.
Yeah, it's just
And no one's safe until everyone's safe.
but then you don't have any freedom, and freedom's all about like
That's
taking
what I mean.
risk. and
Yeah.
a lot of fun comes from being a little dangerous. Like
Yeah, I agree.
a lot of
completely.
what life is all about comes from taking risk, whether it be for your own life or your finances or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of beauty.
I think
in
that
life.
one of those that may take in the future of leaving.
Leaving.
Yeah, America.
Yeah.
If they start to take those freedoms too much, so then
People do leave.
yeah, you gotta leave.
I don't know how many people are, but
What's your line in the sand? I think I asked you this once. I'm curious about people if they have lines in the sand. Do you have a line in the sand?
I don't
Like,
think
as in what?
if
When I
the
would
government
leave
steps
the
over this
country?
line, I'm out. Do you have a line in the sand?
You have a line in stand if the government does this.
Yeah, like I'm out.
Well, it's a balancing act, right? So it's not only like they're taking away this much of my freedoms, but also there's other opportunity where I have a bunch of freedoms.
Yeah, I get that, but like my line in the sand is
I'm not going
If
to
they-
move somewhere and have a bad situation just because they took some of my freedoms.
no, I agree too, but it's like my line in the sand is if they ban guns, I'm out.
Yeah, I was thinking that one, especially if they're banning guns.
Because
Yeah.
why is Australia and your EU the way it is because they've taken everyone's guns and,
And there's
no one
some
has a way to
mass
fight.
rits going on
Yeah.
right there over there.
Crazy.
Fucking huge ones.
Yeah,
some
but once
wild
the
figures.
guns start firing, you can't do anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't even matter how much people you're with. If you have no guns and they have guns, they'll win. I mean, look at Tiananmen.
And the problem, the scary thing is they're going after that.
That's what I mean.
Amendment.
That's my line in the sand. I think
But
it's just good.
the problem is like
I feel like
where
they've chilled on
where
the whole
where
with
do
COVID.
we go?
They've
What do we
just go to
do?
like Costa Rica or you go to like third world countries and
Develop them.
yeah.
That's what because I was talking to my dad about that. I was like, imagine if we're reaching another era of actual homesteaders again. Meaning like you now have like advanced homesteading. Meaning like you get all these skills that you learn in the United States, whatever, about tech, all that shit. Then you homestead to another country, a third world country, and then you create.
That's what our ancestors did.
That's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
maybe we're entering a period of time where that's going to take place again.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening in mass, but like
I think it's slow process.
let's say I had a hard time finding food, and I knew if I moved to like Costa Rica or Guatemala or Djibouti, Africa, I could
Djibouti.
provide my family with food. I
Yeah.
would move. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Or religious persecution or whatever it was. Group persecution. If the government starts labeling groups as terrorists who aren't at all, time to go.
And I think that's a good thing to. I think it's a.
Which they're already
That's
doing
one
that.
thing that
A
no
little
one
bit.
no one talks about. But I think it's super good for everyone just to like think of what is the line in the sand because
So-
if
so
you have no
here's
line in the sand,
yeah.
they'll walk all over you.
Here's a question. So if that line is crossed, I'm guessing I think I know the answer here for you guys. But would you stay and fight, or would you go? Would you just leave?
I would go.
You guys would just leave. You guys want to stay and fight for that?
No.
For whatever you have.
I don't want to shoot people, dude. That'd be fucked.
No, I just is like to me, it's like, why would I fight? I guess if there was enough of a rebellion, but I'm not fighting just to like fight against an archaic system that has a shit ton more firepower than like it. And that's what I mean. Like, if they do come out and they're like, oh, we're gonna ban the Second Amendment, then yeah, you're probably gonna have like a rebellion of some sort. And yeah, I would fight along. But if no one's like, I'm gonna stand up, I'm out.
Oh, right.
Spoken like a terrorist.
A terrifying terrorist.
They call them freedom fighters when you're on the other side.
Freedom fighters.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's
I think the Second Amendment. If we didn't have the Second Amendment, we wouldn't have any amendments at all.
no, not at all.
It's already being wildly infringed upon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's.
Have you guys seen
crazy.
the? I think I could pull it up.
I think they're gonna just easily take him away, and everyone's just gonna be like,
They're not
"Oh."
gonna, they can't, dude. They can't take them away.
Well, they already are.
Yeah, but like
What do you mean they can't? They're already
in
are.
England, people can still get guns if they really want to.
They can't even get. They can't carry around pocket knives.
They're not legally allowed to. That doesn't mean they don't. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's but every law. I mean, just because it's a law doesn't mean you definitely
So like
necessarily can't.
to me, the answer to government overreach in the United States, the way you fight that isn't by like physical violence. It's by trying to operate outside of it. While you live within the state, you live in the U.S. where
Oh, this is
your
what I was
family
talking
and everyone
about.
you love lives.
This is right to carry over the years. No issue is red. Green is unrestricted. This is interesting to me because like a lot of the states are moving towards constitutional carry.
Oh, dude.
They're reverting back.
Ohio.
Yeah, well, look
just-
at this. Look at as it gets closer and closer, you start seeing green pop up more and more and more.
Ohio House. Passed the. You don't have to have a
Concealed carry.
Constitutional
carry.
you can conceal carry without a permit.
Really?
Yeah.
Now the House passed it. It has to go through the Senate and it has to go through the.
I heard Joe Rogan talking about that. It's you are better off not carrying your concealed permit license with you because you have more rights with constitutional carry versus under the concealed carry. If a store says no concealed carry permits, I'm not allowed in there with a concealed permit. But if I take it out and put it in my car and then walk in there, I'm under constitutional carry.
But
That's interesting.
But it hasn't passed in Ohio yet, so you still have to have that card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it passes in Ohio, that's gonna be sweet.
I hope it does.
I hope it does too. That's kind of like
I think we're all on the same page when it comes to guns. I think it makes a safer environment.
Mm-hmm.
The more guns there are,
Armed society is a polite society. Is my
think so.
mic on?
yeah.
you're good.
Hear myself.
Wouldn't it be funny if we just let Frank think he was talking the whole time?
Oh my God.
It'd be like silence for a while. We
It'd be
just
the
talk.
best podcast ever. You'd be able to hear it faintly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I do think people need to like. I do agree. Everyone should have the right to carry. It doesn't matter what you're. But I do think people need to know how to use the gun. I think people need to.
Training is pretty important.
Training is important. And I think that's just training with
Do you think
everything and
the-
anything.
Do you think the government should issue a weapon
The government should issue a weapon.
like Switzerland or something?
So they issue a weapon in like training.
Yeah, like everyone in Switzerland when they're 18 or something.
Dude,
they
I
have to join
understand
the
people being
military.
No,
afraid of guns and not wanting to be around them. Like I think that's perfectly fine. So I don't support the government giving.
I don't think it is. I think
Mo-
people
mo-
need to
most
be
people
completely
scared-
used to guns.
Yeah, most people scared of guns just don't understand guns. The
Yeah,
vast
they're
majority.
loud. They're dangerous. Like
They just don't understand.
If everyone was completely fine with guns, then we would have there wouldn't be any school shootings because you had it like in the 70s where everyone there's pictures of
Trucks with shotguns in the
guns,
back.
and they would
of-
go and get the students got their shotguns and the teachers and sat by the doors.
Hunting season. They said they used to take their shotguns in, bring them, and set them into the school, and then when they come, they got out of school. They picked up their guns and went out to the woods right away.
Mm-hmm.
They brought the guns in the school.
sure, but I think it's all right if like I didn't want to bring a gun.
No,
to school.
I understand that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the more you're exposed to something, the less fearful you'll be to it.
It's just a misunderstanding.
I would say people who are super scared of guns should challenge themselves to go like get gun training and like be more comfortable around them and that kind of thing. But I don't think they should be forced to, and I don't think the state should necessarily force that. Maybe they could promote it, but even that, I don't know, man.
Maybe when people do get used to that, they can issue one. I don't think the government should issue.
I was just curious. I don't think so either.
I don't think the government
That'd
should
be really
issue.
hard in a place like America.
Yeah, that's
Sweden's a little more localized, man.
It's more.
It's got to be a lot smaller.
I might just go to Sweden if this place goes
homogenous.
Good luck into Sweden, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Very homogenous.
They won't let you in.
Oh, I know. Oh, Sweden, eh?
Yeah, that's funny.
Man,
Dude, the weirdest is like Scotland and Ireland.
How they're like,
what's going on there?
How they're just like still separated by religion.
well, it's is it religion or is it like a whole culture?
I'm pretty sure it's the Protestants and the Catholics still. It's like,
Yeah.
like I think it's like you
Didn't
still.
one of them break off from Britain?
Yeah, they're two separate countries. I think.
I know, but
they're all different countries. They're just
one of them was a part of
United Kingdom.
the
United
UK,
Kingdom, yeah.
and then they separated,
Really?
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Well, good for them.
We can look
Well,
at
maybe.
it.
I don't know how you separate. You're literally on an
They
island.
voted.
They
for
voted.
It.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
Except they didn't have a civil war.
No, they voted it. Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland and then Northern Ireland. That's like I'm pretty sure that's the Protestants and then the I think it's
Catholics down there.
I might be fucking that up.
Either one, but it's
Sorry to
Protestant
our
or Catholic.
Irish.
All of our Irish listeners.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of.
Yeah. I like when we start talking about like geopolitics and like none of us really know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
but that's the
so
fun
fast.
of it.
Yeah,
That's how we learn things, though.
I think so.
Ireland.
Come to conclusions that you didn't think of.
That's one of the best things about doing this is, even the conversations or like listening to podcasts, whatever it may be, is you get to hear like an idea, and it can spawn, curiosity, and then you have
Then
to
you go
like
and look
look it
at it.
up
Yeah,
and
oh,
learn
yeah.
something. It's great.
I think that's how you spread ideas.
Yeah,
Is you talk about them.
for sure. That's why podcasts are popular. I love listening to them, dude.
When it's like not only that, it's the idea of like going into the topic in detail,
Mm-hmm.
or just being able to talk about any topic in detail. Where like normal media is,
It's more structured.
yeah,
and
you can't
it's-
only talk about certain things.
They seem
whatever.
to always have a point. You can't say fuck.
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 That's funny.
But
Do you guys think there's going to be a turning point? With something just I don't know about like
I don't know.
what kind of
2030
turning point?
seems to be the date.
2030.
I hate predictions like that, dude.
I mean, I'm not predicting it.
what's
That's
2030?
that's
Nothing.
every country that's like, oh, we're going to be carbon neutral by 2030. China's like, we're
Oh,
going to
that
finish
one.
the
Dude,
Belt
in
and Road Initiative
2010,
by
it was, we
2030.
were going to be carbon neutral by 2020. You just
I know.
extend that
I'm just
deadline.
saying, like, China's had the same Belt and Road Initiative for a long time now. It's 2030. Visa's had the same thing. We're going to cashless by 2030. I'm not saying that, some event is going to take place on 2030, but it seems like
No, you just,
there's going to be
you
a
just-
shift.
You just throw, you work towards the goal. So they put a deadline on it. So
Yeah.
it sounds like they have something to actually work towards. It's
And then they'll
it's
get to that
much
deadline
less
like
an indicator of when stuff's actually going to happen. And
No,
more
I
of a-
agree. But I think that tells us
Yeah,
that there's
Elon
going to be
Musk
a
is
push
going
towards
to Mars by 2030 or whatever it is. He probably won't. Maybe he does. He's just trying to set a date to
Yeah.
it.
But it's going to have a push towards that at least.
Yeah. So there's people pushing towards stuff. That's for sure.
That's
Good
what
stuff,
I mean.
bad
Is like
stuff.
it seems like the date that everyone's has in mind is 2030. I'm
It's a
not
good round
saying
number.
yeah, I'm not saying that something's going to happen then. But that being said, them setting that date means they're building something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all are though, right?
Yeah. Who
We-
knows when stuff is going to like fall apart? I don't think
It's,
the
you
shit's going
know,
to fall apart.
It's falling apart. Inflation's going to be rampant. Food's more expensive than it used to be. People's incomes haven't risen as fast as inflation have. Like, that's constant. That's always happening. There's not going to be a point. If COVID wasn't like a crazy point of when shit was falling apart, or like 2008, or going to war against, or 9/11, if those weren't like major turning points, then there isn't going to be one. Like, that's what it is. We are there. It doesn't all end.
Oh, right.
It
No, I
just-
know. It's
fizzles.
I heard it. I heard a saying. It was however old you guys are. And how old are you guys?
25.
So, for 25 years of your life, you've gone through every obstacle
Mm-hmm.
and everything that you ever worried about. You got through it, didn't you? It's
I'm not saying- I'm not
no,
saying
I know.
everything's gonna fall
That was
apart.
this guy that saying.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like you got through everything that you were worried about for 25 years. What says that the next thing is going to destroy you?
My biggest thing is
Probably
that
won't.
Exactly.
And it's great that we live in a place like the United States where I don't have to worry about
but it's
drone strike
wishful
hitting my
thinking.
house or something.
I think this
I like how you always go to the drone strikes.
I
Dude,
think-
that's like the worst thing
Yeah.
that's ever happened.
Well, I think that it eventually you can't be completely careless with it because the shit changes fast.
Yeah, you got to be
When it
proactive.
does, yeah, exactly. Like you still got to be aware of it all.
Like being aware of cryptocurrency and the benefits of
Yes.
that versus like the U.S. dollar system.
Exactly.
And knowing people who you can trade your resources with if shit does hit the fan. You know,
Mhm.
like anything like that's great.
Yeah.
Building a doomsday bunker in your backyard.
I don't think that's great.
It's the best.
Hey, what are you talking
Hoarding
about, dude?
natural resources, buying toilet paper when everyone else is. It's all good ideas. We had a fuel shortage in North Carolina because that pipeline got hacked,
Oh yeah.
and you couldn't buy gas for like a week. It was all gone.
Really
Yeah, so
nice.
I'm around people who actually read the fucking news, and they're like, "Hey, this hack happened. There's not gonna be any gas next week." I went and got gas, and there's no lines, nothing.
Yeah. And then once
The
everyone
news hit on Monday because the news cycle takes a little bit, and shit house. Everyone bought gas.
Oh, yeah.
There's people filling up. There's a hilarious video of this lady filling up a Walmart bag,
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
and it's like she's way off. You know what I mean? Like that's completely crazy thoughts. Just like the people buying toilet paper.
But I think
beating
that's
COVID.
that's
That was
what
crazy.
the inflation is.
Inflation.
I think the inflation is that we're just having hoarding of resources
I think
and
a
not
lot of
having the
people are.
demand filled. Then you have prices go up. That's thought to be inflation,
It is though.
but it'll eventually come down. My thought is that
You think chicken prices are going to go down?
I think everything's going to come down unless they print more money.
They're definitely doing that.
They're
Not a
trying
lot
to.
though. Not a lot. In the scheme of things.
Trillions of dollars.
$1 trillion is not a lot in the scheme of things.
It is.
Not if the whole U.S.
know how
stock
much
market is $100 billion and the daily volume on the forex market is $5 trillion.
Yeah, it's
One-
1/5 of the forex. That's crazy.
Daily volume. The forex
Sure,
trades
but that's-
$5 trillion a
That's
day.
like pretend.
It's listed on the bank sheets.
Yeah, but that's not like real money. Like
that's taken into
it's not like
consideration with the
it's-
currencies.
That's not actual like lumber.
it's I mean that's currency in circulation.
Yeah, currencies make believe though, and they make more of it all the time.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think there's enough actual physical currency.
Well, that's definitely true, right? But it doesn't matter. Like
I think that's why
unless people suddenly
yeah.
want paper money, which they probably don't.
I was reading something about like the pension funds that they only hold like 0.8% of the cash holdings on the pension funds. I was thinking to myself like, dude, all it
doesn't
takes
work.
is something.
0.8.
Yeah, it was they hold like 0.8 cash reserves on. It was like some pension fund. I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, if a shit ton of people pull their pension funds, it's done. The
Yeah,
entire
it
fund.
crashes markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the housing market.
That's what I mean. There's not enough dollars. Like that shit like that is going to start to happen more
Yeah,
and
so
more.
they inflate.
Mm-hmm.
Here's more dollars. $1,200 check from the Republicans.
But it can only work so much.
Yeah, you
As-
you can't keep
no,
kicking the can.
Can't kick the can down the road.
Yeah, but like currency is in everything.
Only the U.S. can start to produce U.S. dollars. China cannot make U.S. dollars. Other countries cannot make U.S. dollars. If
They
they
can-
don't have enough U.S. dollars to pay back their
But
debt, they collapse.
Other countries can decide not to transact in U.S. dollars, and
What if the U.S. says, "Hey, you owe us this money"? What are we supposed to do?
if the U.S. says it to China,
What if any country? What if any country defaults on their loans because they don't have enough U.S. dollars?
well, they leverage that, right? And the U.S. would probably
What if they're-
restructure. for
what
some
if they're
amount of power,
leveraged the
or
max?
Maybe we can build if they're leveraged to the max, then
you're leveraged to the max. You're like Japan in the 90s, and you have the 270% debt to GDP ratio, and you have a deflationary crisis because there's a credit crisis.
Yeah, what did they do?
They're still feeling it.
A bunch of people lost a bunch of fucking money.
Oh yeah, and their money is still deflating,
Yeah.
or
They have negative interest rates, right?
Well, the negative interest rates would break our system.
Yeah, they've talked about it at least once. I don't.
We're just not set up. We're not just the only way you can have negative interest rates is if you had a digital currency, a way you could pull the money back out. They can't pull the money out.
They can in taxes, right?
Can in taxes somewhat, but it's not like they can pull out money you have in the bank. They could if it was a Fed coin, if the Fed had the power to control all of the local banks and everyone's wallets. But I think that's great because if they institute a Fed coin, then cryptocurrencies will explode. Because people will be forced to learn how to use cryptocurrencies.
And they'll be like, oh, this one doesn't make any sense. Let's do that one.
Yeah, they're like, fuck the Fed coin. We're just use the ones that already work extremely well and have huge platforms already built up around them.
And anonymity and
exactly. And like more
security functions.
And anonymity is even becoming more like Bitcoin's new I don't know if it was the Taproot update, but I think the next some update they're planning on hiding transactions amounts too. So you can't even tell how much people are sending. You can just see that they sent people
Which
money.
makes it even harder to track down who's sending it to who.
Exactly. But it's fully transparent at the same time, meaning I can see all of transactions taking place.
Transactions did happen, but you don't. It's just harder to tie them to the individual.
Well, no, it's because I can see this amount of money, I think it's if this amount of coins moved on that block, but I can't see the individual transactions that make up that block. It's the
Cryptography,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard.
It's they like I don't know.
It's super sweet, free money.
Fuck yeah, it's not free.
Everyone buy Dogecoin.
Don't buy Dogecoin.
Yeah, don't buy Dogecoin. That's silly.
Buy Phantom Coin.
Right.
This is not a financial advice.
Free money. Buy AMC stock.
Buy their coin. Buy their crypto coin.
Do they have one?
I think they're coming out with one.
Yeah. I recently got a movie theater pass, not to Regal theaters. Like I bought their subscription. I can go watch movies at the movie theater for
That's
like.
sweet.
That's cool.
That's
yeah,
really
it's
cool.
so fun, dude.
That's awesome.
Movie theaters are rad.
Dude, this is awesome.
Especially
I
the
love
nice
them.
ones.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Lima's Regal shut down.
Really?
It's not there anymore. I don't
bummer.
think. Yeah.
It's so convenient to have a big movie theater. Like Dune came out. Watched it in theaters. You watch that yet?
What is it?
Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, great movie.
There's some great movies. I love movies. Movies are awesome.
I get pissed off when I see a shitty movie though. If I go to the theaters, or now it's basically free, so I don't really care, or I'm already paying for it. But you ever go to the theaters and just watch like a junky movie that doesn't change? Like it's not really funny. It's not really like emotionally captivating. Doesn't have any interesting plot points. It's just like generic as shit.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
God, it pisses me off. Make a good movie. There's
Dude,
so many amazing
I
topics.
can't stand the fucking remakes of everything.
It's just cash.
Yeah, I don't know
cows,
why
man.
they keep doing
It's
that.
just
It's
cash cows.
terrible.
They're again doing the same thing Carhartt does.
They need
Yeah.
they need to go back to
Cheapening their
like
product.
making like Step Brothers kind of movies or
There's
can't
not
have.
any silly
there
comedies really.
never
can't, because-
ever.
The only people making movies are like woke, and they're not funny.
It's
I
Yeah.
think there's some funny wokeness. Bo Burnham's really woke. He's still pretty funny to me.
I haven't heard his shit.
I haven't
recently.
really heard
His
much of
latest
Bo Burnham
special,
shit.
it wasn't as funny as it was like interesting. He had a lot of interesting concepts about like mental health and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Inside, I'd recommend it.
Bo Burnham. I remember Bo Burnham.
I do too.
Bo Burnham's dope.
Two nice hits.
I'm a big fan.
Well, boys, I think we're hitting my recording cap here in a minute or two.
Very nice. Any final thoughts? Be on the lookout for the
Asgard
new
Energy.
Asgard Energy.
Asgard Energy.
We'll
If you
let
know
everyone
Frank and
know.
Stolly, text him about it. Say you're excited.
Yeah.
I've already pre-ordered. You guys take V-Bucks, right?
Yeah, or skins.
Skins, yeah.
Yeah.
I've leveraged V-Bucks super hard, my portfolio.
I'm 100 times leverage on my
V-Bucks. Yeah, it's
100%. They're going up.
up. Yeah,
Have you seen how popular Fortnite is right now?
free money. Yeah, Jacob had a son.
Congratulations,
Boone,
Jacob.
Boone Stolly, welcome a new life to the world. Great job, dude. That's like the best.
Oh yeah.
We didn't get to talk about your newfound fatherhood, your new dad strength.
That's all right. There's not much to talk about. It's just it's literally when people say it's the best thing and the worst thing, it's exactly what the fuck it is. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life.
Sounds like you're a good dad.
Just keep them alive.
Yeah. They're
All
resilient
right.
little dudes. Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far,
It's a good time.
good time.
Enjoy the Thanksgiving.
Enjoy the Thanksgiving. Enjoy Christmas. If you don't hear from us before then, enjoy your life. Get out there and do stuff.
Hell yeah. Make something of yourself.
Climb a mountain.
Nah.
Oh.
Okay, if you want to. All right. Thanks, guys.
Streak in the streets.
Streak in the streets.
That's hot.
Nice.
All righty. Peace.
Sweet.